Hey guys, listening to the English Made Simple show. This is episode number 201. Episode 201, número 201. I have to get used to saying this, episode 200 and something. I get tongue-tied because I have to remember it's 200, not 100 anymore. Alright, welcome back, amigos y amigas. My name is Milena from EnglishMadeSimple.net, EnglishMadeSimple.net, and today I am going to teach you how to remember a stranger's name. And why I'm doing this today is because of my local baker. Yes, local bakery where I go to. My local baker can never remember my name. He always greets me with, hello, Melania. And I have already corrected him twice, but he seems to always call me Melania for some reason. Every time I correct him, he tells me, so it's not like Melania Trump. I said, nope, it ain't. The next day he says, hello, Melania. You know what? I just gave up correcting him. So, what about you, amigos? Are you good at remembering people's names? The ones you meet for the first time? Can you remember strangers' names? I just say stranger, but the proper word would be acquaintance. A new person that you've just met, an acquaintance. I used to be really good at this. I used to be able to remember people's names, but lately I started to forget. Must be my old age. Before we begin today's show, I'd just like to say thank you to Maria from Mexico, who supported the English Made Simple show and made a donation last week. Thank you so much, Maria, and also thank you to Miguel from Chile, who also donated to the EMS show. There were a few more others who did as well, so just wanted to say thank you to all. You made my day. You guys are awesome. I know I'm doing something right. So if you'd like to buy me a cup of coffee and support the English Made Simple show, head on over to EnglishMadeSimple.net/coffee. EnglishMadeSimple.net/coffee. Thank you very much. I have also added some really cool resources for you. So when you donate, you will have access to selected episodes and transcripts, plus a document of some of my teaching notes. And I've got some useful online resources as well. I'm offering this for a limited time only. The teaching notes are about phrasal verbs, prepositions, like prepositions of movement and time and place. There are also useful phrases that will help you start conversations with strangers or your new acquaintances. So just go to EnglishMadeSimple.net/coffee to donate any amount you wish to claim these goodies. As soon as you donate, you will get access to these resources. This will be available for a short time only. EnglishMadeSimple.net/coffee. I'm celebrating 2.5 years of English Made Simple. Let's do it together. So that's nice, right? You can learn some new phrases to start chit-chatting with strangers. But how will you chat if you cannot remember their names? It's tricky. Thank goodness for this episode. Today, I wanted to share with you some tips that will help you remember people's names when you meet them for the first time. I might share them with my baker as well. I think he needs to know these tips. So, are we ready? Cool bananas! Here are the tips that I use. Well, try to use or try to remember because of my old age when I meet someone for the first time. Tip number 1. Repeat their name. The tip is about repetition. The idea here is to repeat person's name throughout the conversation, throughout the exchange. So if they say, hi, my name is Ricky, you say, great, nice to meet you, Ricky. You can also say, where are you from, Ricky, if they are a tourist in your country, that is. So the idea here is to repeat the name back. At the end of the chat, you can also say, it's been really nice meeting you, Ricky. Or, it's nice meeting you, Ricky. That should be enough. So, apparently, repetition helps your brain make connections so it can retain information. I've read it somewhere. It's really good. Makes me sound really smart. So don't be afraid to repeat people's names when you're meeting them for the first time. Actually, a lot of people would be flattered when you repeat their name because it makes them feel good and special. Moving right along to the next tip. Tip number 2. If it's too hard, ask them for their nickname. Let's try this example again. Hi, my name is Rickilikos Osphesugus. Say what? Rickilikos Osphesugus. Oh, that sounds complicated. Okay, if you do happen to hear a complicated name, just be honest and say it. It's complicated. Ricky, sorry, do you have a nickname, Ricky something? The name is hard for me to remember. And Rickilikos says, yes, my name is Ricky. Okay, we can remember Ricky. Easy peasy. Ricky is easy peasy. Why don't you just say Ricky, not Rickilikos Osphesugus? I have to write this down. Just made it up. All right. Tip number 3. Make mental associations, but don't be like my baker. That's what I call tip number 3. Don't be like my baker, my local baker. Okay, so another useful tip for you, amigos y amigas. If you're the type of person who is very visual or who is very creative, making mental associations means that as soon as you hear the person's name, you immediately make a visual connection to something that it would be easy for you to remember them by later. So the crazier the visual connection, the better, I say. So the wackiest and the craziest thing you can visualize, the better. Okay, let me give you some examples. So, hang on, let me think here. If you meet this guy again, this person, Rickilikos Osphesugus, if you meet them again, you can imagine this person's name sounds like, I don't know, Ricky Martin, maybe, and then you realize, oh, that's right, his nickname is Ricky, that's right, duh, so let's call him Ricky. Okay, I know Ricky Martin doesn't sound like Rickilikos Osphesugus, but in my head it does. It's a hypothetical example, okay, amigos? It's a made-up name. I'm just making a point here. What's another example, something that would be easy to visualize and remember someone's name? Let me think. So, let's say you meet someone called Mario. Will you remember them because of the computer game called Mario? Ha! I think so. So the next time you see the person, you say, hello Mario, come stai? Okay, so the tip number 4. The tip number 4. And this is the last tip, how to memorize a stranger's name, somebody you meet for the first time. Read and memorize their names in print, if possible, and if there is a name tag attached to their clothes, if it's printed somewhere, if the name is printed, make sure you read the name tag. Whenever you attend networking events, conferences, or some special events where people wear name tags, you know, where this little badge where your name is on, name tags, all you have to do is read what's written on this name tag. It's usually their name. And if it's written in a handwriting that's hard to read, then say, oh, sorry, what is your name? I'm not able to read it. That's all you have to say. I know there are some very difficult and long names out there. If you do come across a name like that, simply ask them to repeat their name. And if you find that it's still too hard to remember the person's name, ask if they have a nickname. Nickname, that's what we call it. My husband's name is really hard to pronounce. I never call him by his name. I just say to him, hey, it's your turn to do the dishes tonight. Okay, thanks for joining me today, amigos y amigas. Just to recap today's episode, you have learned 4 different ways to remember people's names. Sometimes it's easier to remember their faces than their names, I know. It's especially hard to remember people's names if they sound foreign and it's not a name you're used to hearing. Remember to always ask if they have a nickname. Maybe that's easier to remember. Anyhow, so I hope these tips helped you somehow. The tip number 1 was repetition. Repeat their name throughout the conversation. Tip number 2, ask if they have a nickname. Tip number 3, make mental associations. And tip number 4, read the name tag if it's available. Otherwise, good luck and all the best. Alright guys, so those were my tips. How about you? Do you have a strategy of your own that you use to remember people's names? Some people can easily remember other people's names, but then the other people have to learn it. It's a skill. It's a skill to remember someone's name, to be able to remember it. So you have to consciously practice all these tips if you want to impress your new acquaintances, especially if you're at a business meeting. All right, before we finish, remember my name is Milena from EnglishMadeSimple.net, okay? Don't forget. And I would be so pleased if you could support the EMS show. Simply go to EnglishMadeSimple.net/coffee. You will get access to my teaching notes as well, and these will be really helpful to you. This will only be available for a short time. So just head on over to EnglishMadeSimple.net/coffee. Beside my teaching notes, you will also get access to selected transcripts and raw audio files of selected episodes. Go to EnglishMadeSimple.net/coffee to get access to all of that. Another thing, if you're looking to study English in Australia, where you will be surrounded by English speakers, have a chat with Soraya from Tour Studies. She can organize your accommodation, courses, and insurance. Soraya speaks both Spanish and English. Go to EnglishMadeSimple.net/study to get in touch with Soraya and find out how you can study English in Australia. Thanks for joining me today. You've been an amazing audience as always. You've been jamming with Milena from English Made Simple. Have an awesome rest of the week. Until next time, hasta la próxima.